Swim. Beautiful. Good girl, Nicolette. Good girl. Just letting her warm up a bit. She's got actually a very nice strong stroke, and she's breathing nicely. Good girl. And you know the steps already, so I'm going to let you come to the steps. Good. That's how you get out. Good girl. Good girl, Nicolette. Good. Now we're going to try it again. This time we're going to actually do a little swim, okay? Good girl, honey. Good girl. Let me just get my treat so you actually get rewarded every time you do it. The plane? Come on, let's go swim. Let's go swim. Let's go. Let's go. I'm bringing you out into the middle of the pool. Oh, what are you barking? We're going to go in the very middle of the pool. Hi. Hi, good girl. Now, where do you want to go? Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Who's out there? Who's out there? Good girl. Oh, good girl. Okay, let's go swimming. Come on. No, this way. Let's go swimming. This time we're going to go all the way to the far end. Good girl. We're going to go see the frogs. Let's go get them. I know where you're trying to point me, but I'm going to point you all the way to the far end. All the way to the far end. Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Now, where are you going to go to get out? Where are you going to go? Oh my God, this is great. Talk to her a little bit. Let's see if she gets confused and goes to you.
Hey.
Good.
Coming over
Good
here?
girl. Come on, you. We're going to go all the way to the far end this time. Good girl. Hi, good girl. Hi, you're a very good swimmer. You're a very good swimmer. So, now, we're all the way down here. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
Good girl, Nikki. You're doing
Good
great.
girl is
That's
right.
terrific.
Again, I'm just holding on to her
Very
to
good.
keep up with her.
Very
But
good, Nikki. That is super.
This is perfect.
That is nice.
Good girl.
Great.
Good girl.
Yay.
Good girl.
I'd applaud if you knew what that meant.
Andy doing a beautiful job with Nicolette, and this actually led to saving Nikki's life. Bob, you want to share that story, how we know firsthand that it really did? And those of you that have just tuned in, Nicolette is a mighty frog chaser, and she chases frogs all around our pool, and she gets so obsessed with chasing frogs that her mind goes crazy. So this is why we had her come to Randy. And that's why we were afraid that one day we might find her drowned in the pool. So Bob, you want to explain or tell about how we know that this basically, Randy's experience training Nicolette actually saved her life?
Yeah, what happened was one day, maybe about a month ago, I was sitting at the pool. Well, sitting near the pool, but reading the paper, as I usually do in the morning. And I look up and I see from the end of the pool where the stairs are to the house, which is about 50 feet away, a trail of water. And I assume, which Nikki had the habit of going down to at least the first step by herself, and then coming out, and she'd have these paw marks going wherever. And then I realized that there were more than just paw marks. There was a whole trail of water. And I put two and two together, and I realized that she must have jumped in. And then all of a sudden she came, Nikki comes running over, and Jewel came out of the house by that time and said, Bob, she's all wet. You know? So we were very happy about that, because that, and we know, but I know by the direction of the water that she came from the very far end, the direction of the water once she left the pool. So that was great, and I finally decided to pay Randy. No, I'm only kidding. We were paying him before that.
Oh, it was an investment. Well, it worked, and it was worth every penny, let me tell you. So do you mind sharing your fees with our audience and telling
I
them?
actually don't mention the fees, but what I do, because the reason why I don't mention the fees, is I've set up a fund. The previous dog was Sylvester. So I set up what they call Sly's Legacy Laps. And my principle in starting explain the business and what I do, is that any dog in need, I will swim. So if there's a dog in need and the parents or the caregivers have financial issues, I have the Sly's Legacy Laps, and that helps take care of the situation. So to me, it's not about the money, so it's not worth mentioning the fees. It's about that there's, no, you're going to stay, sweetie. I know, you're getting jealous. So it's more about the fact that you can lay back down now. Good girl. It's more about the fact that there is a situation that allows itself to help the animals, and that's really what I'm all about. And in doing that, it's not the money, it's the labor of love. Obviously, I do it for a living, and I do have an equity line of credit that I have to pay off, but I'm not, you know, so addicted to the idea of how much it costs and how much it's worth. I do it, like I said, in the Endless Swim Spa, or I do it on location, and there are different fees according to the time spent.
And also, it depends on if you have it done on at your pool or your house, or actually you do this all year round.
I do it year round.
You have it at your house, and it's less expensive if we come to you.
Right. Well, I've created a spa. It's I very much look at it because I happen to love going to a spa. That same type of feeling, you know. I've made it year round because when I'm working with dogs that are rehabbing, they don't say, okay, well, you know, the weather's cold, I guess I'm done. So the business did wind up that way, in which I thought it was just going to be the summer and close down. And I had a couple who had a dog that had the same disease that took my dog, and they found me. I don't even know how they found me. I think from the Dog Talk radio show, but they had found me, and they were coming every single week, multiple times a week from Port Jeff. And I started getting really cold, you know. It's come December, November, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just didn't have the heart to say, okay, you know, I'm cold, we're not going to do this. So I wound up enclosing the entire thing in like a little greenhouse, and wound up investing in a dry suit and all this stuff. So I do it year round. And
That's great.
yeah, I mean, this time of year I'm still doing it in other people's pools also, and sometimes they're not heated anymore, so it changes the dynamic a little bit. But you know, dogs don't know it's a holiday, they don't know it's winter break, and if they need it, I do it. And that's why I set up the Sly's Legacy Lapse Fund, because I just feel like if it's a dog in need, I don't want to say no because I'm cold or it's not enough money, because I have so many really terrific clients that are so generous with me. I feel like it's karma and it all works its way around.
It's amazing. I want to also talk about Taz a minute, because Taz had the same problem that your first dog did, and it was like actually atrophying, kind of. I say that, Bob hates for me to say that, but it was kind of like moving from its back end forward. And Bob, when it came to Taz, never spares any expense. And you had an operation done, it was like on his legs, his back legs.
Yep.
And one of the treatments of that was afterwards, he put him in Aqua therapy.
Oh, great.
And so that, I really know that Aqua therapy actually helped us. And it was like transformation between that operation and Aqua therapy, where a dog couldn't even barely walk up the steps before, after he had the operation and walk, suddenly he was back, springing back into the car again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the vets are, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of vets are saying, like, ACL tears, unfortunately, are very common. And so when the dogs have had these surgeries, they're told, the owners are said, do not let this dog, you know, exert itself. And the owners are like, great, I've got a dog with 4 legs that needs to go out. What am I going to do with this thing? It wants to play, and I have steps. And we immediately start swimming. As soon as the sutures are healed and the vet gives the go-ahead, and I always defer to a vet's opinion, we start swimming them, and it allows the dogs to get some of that pent-up energy off. But it's not weight-bearing. It's not stressful. They're floating in the water. They don't touch bottom. I don't have them on a treadmill. I have them actually floating in the water, and that's why the life preservers come really handy, because when a dog is injured, they're going to be lopsided because they're weaker on the part where they've had the surgery. So for me, I'm just such a believer in the swimming, because it's like there's no resistance. It's the least, I wouldn't say resistance, that's the wrong word, but it's the least invasive way of getting them to work out and build in strength, and also get everything moving properly in their body without them running the risk of injury, because it's totally controlled. My hands are on them the entire time, you know, so.
It was you did that with Nicolette. It was so sweet, and we were so excited. It was really interesting, because I wish that you could have seen the first tape that we did with Nicolette, and you were so gentle with her.
Oh, she's a sweet dog, and she's smart, and she's she was wanting to please and wanting to get it right, and there were times when you guys would be on the side of the pool calling to her, and all she wanted to go to them, but she was smart enough to say, I can't get to them that way. I got to go to the steps to get out, and that was because repetitively she learned it.
And that is it. I think that's the whole secret. It's the repetition. Because you do it over and over again. So when she was there and she fell into the pool all by herself.
Without a life preserver on.
Without a life preserver,
Without a
that's
life
right.
preserver. Yes.
But oddly enough, that life preserver came in handy because now we trust her. We think that even if we're not there, she doesn't have to wear a life preserver around the pool. And for those of you thinking that why don't you have the pool fenced in, we do have it fenced in, but it's the whole yard area, so children can't fall in it and whatever. But with her, it was really adorable because she had a guest. We had a guest that came in. Maria Sanson from NBC News came over and visited us this past weekend, and she brought her dog, which was a little Ralphie. And so Ralphie is a Manhattan dog, and he had never been anywhere near a swimming pool before, and they were terrified that he might fall in the pool. So Ralphie was about the same size as Nicolette, so we just zipped him up, and there he was, running around, playing around the pool. And
Can I say one thing about the therapy that Taz got? The way it was done, it wasn't that Taz was thrown into the water. It was that he was put into a container of water on a treadmill. And it was put into a container without water in a treadmill, and they slowly increased the water level. So he was feeling, getting used to it. So it wasn't something, I just wanted to let you know that it wasn't a traumatizing situation for him.
Right. Those are the underwater treadmills that it's becoming very acceptable, which I appreciate, that a lot of vets are now recognizing the benefits of hydrotherapy. So in the vet's offices and some of these major surgery places, they have the underwater treadmill, which is a great way to segue an animal from surgery to limited use to water. And then from there, I prefer that they come to me, of course, and that we do it without the bottom so I can get the full range of motion and the flexibility. They're not hitting the treadmill as much as they've got the free movement. But I also do have a bench lining the inside of my spa because, like I said, it's not like a real pool, it's a spa, so it's got a current that goes that they swim against, but there is a bench that they can walk on, and I call it water walking. But I feel that that's another step forward, but I really like that they have the free range of motion and that they can actually use the limbs independently and go through the motion really of swimming as opposed to walking.
Randy, I would love for you to give a few tips, if you don't mind, to our viewers.
Sure.
And give them what they can do at home.
Well, the first thing I always suggest is the life preserver.
Okay.
Because it puts everyone a little bit at ease. So I do recommend the life preserver, and I recommend just really not being nervous about it the same way. You don't approach it like you're going to the vet or the doctors. You're like, oh, this is a play date, this is fun, and you just nurture and love and hug your animal. You give them that warm, tight sense of security. You bring them in very slowly, very calmly, and at their level, you know what I mean? And you encourage with treats, with toys, squeakies, whatever the motivation is. And when the dog is getting spent, you take them out and say, that's it. Don't they have a shorter attention span, don't force the issue, and then keep doing it.
Absolutely.
And then for yourself, you want to just prepare that you're going to get a little scratched up.
I do want to say one thing. We're almost at a close, and you have been absolutely wonderful, but I do want to tell our viewers one thing, that in the event that you ever do come to your pool and you see that your dog is there, pull it out and try to rehabilitate it. Pull it out of the pool as quickly as possible, and it's called the mouth-to-snout resuscitation. I know that you may think that you would never do this otherwise, but when your pet is there and you think that you're losing that pet, you go for it and breathe life into that pet. If you can, it works, and it's been documented. Randy, thank you so much for coming today.
Pleasure.
You've been an absolute wonderful guest, and thank you for saving Nicolette's life.
I'm honored.
And you too, Bob.
Oh, thank you.